So in this lecture, let's talk about rational expressions. So what is a rational expression? So for example, let's say we have an equation. Say you have x square plus 8x plus 16 over x square plus 11x plus 28. So if you look at an expression like this, notice that the expression looks too complex to solve. But what happens is, if you try to factorize the denominator and the numerator, so for example, if you factorize the numerator, so you get x square. So here 8 comes from the fact that it's 4 times 4. So you get 4x plus 16 divided by x square plus 7x plus 4x. Notice that here we are talking about 28x square. So we can fix it into 4x into 7x, 4x plus 7x. Here 16x square becomes 4x times 4x. So 4x plus 4x is 8x. Here 4x plus 7x is 11x. So 7x plus 4x plus 28. So when you simplify it, you get x plus 4 into x plus 1. X plus 4 square divided by x plus 4 into x plus 7. Now notice that there is a common variable on the numerator and denominator, so cancel the common variable. So the common polynomial, whatever is left is the rational expression. So the simplified version is basically what we call a rational expression. So what are the common operations that you see on rational expressions? So the common ones that we're going to talk about is, first is how to simplify. We'll see first about simplifying rational expressions. Second, we'll talk about multiplying rational expressions. Third, how to divide rational expressions. And fourth, add and subtract. And finally, we'll try to simplify complex rational expressions. So let's start with the first one, simplification. So the one that I showed you itself is an example. So this problem is an example of simplifying a rational expression. So let's try another problem. Let's say I have x square minus 9 over x square plus 4x plus 3. Notice that we have two expressions, x square minus 9 and x square plus 4x plus 3. So you can write down separately and write it. Notice that this is a difference of square, because x square 9 can be written as 3 square. So this comes under a square minus b square, so which becomes a plus b into a minus b. So which becomes x plus 3 into x minus 3 times x minus 3, and x square plus 4x plus 3. Again, notice how to factorize. So multiply the first and last variable, you get 3x square. So how to get 4x? So we know that 3 times 1, so our 3 plus 1 becomes 4, so 3x at x. So we can simplify this as the x square plus 3x plus x plus 3. So when you take x out, you get x plus 3. So 1 out, x plus 3. So x plus 3 in common, so take x plus 3 out. You get x plus 3 times x plus 1. Now write down the simplified version onto the original problem. So the x square minus 9 can be written as x plus 3 times x minus 3 over x plus 3 times x plus 1. So x plus 3 out. So you get x minus 3 by x plus 1. So this is the simplified version of this expression. So not all rational expressions are simplifiable, only some of them, and they're only simplified to a certain extent, after which you cannot simplify them. For example, this cannot be further simplified. Now, so try this as an example. So let's say I have x minus 6 by x square minus 36. So as a hint, I'll tell you the denominator is a perfect square. Notice that 36 can be written as 6 square. So pause the video here and try to solve the problem. Next, let's talk about multiplying rational expressions. How do you multiply them? So the common steps, first thing is factor the numerator and denominator. So number 2, multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators. So whatever is common, cancel it out, so and simplify the expression. So let's take a simple example. Say I have x square plus 4x minus 5 over 3x plus 18 times 2x minus 1 over x plus 5. So notice that here the first thing to do is factorize the expression. Notice that these two are already simplified, so we cannot further simplify them, but this we can simplify. So you have x square plus 4x minus 5. So notice that you have minus 5x square at the end. So how to split it to get 4? So you can write it as 5x into minus x. So 5x minus x is 4x, and 5x into minus x is for minus 5x square. So we can write the expression as x square plus 5x minus x minus 5. So when you take x out, you get x plus 5. When you take minus 1 out, you get x plus 5. The reason we get plus is because when you do the same thing backward, so minus into plus, you get minus again. So next you get x minus 1 into x plus 5. So now we have simplified the numerator here, so write it down there. So you can write x minus 1 into x plus 5. So here the bottom can also be further simplified. Notice that 3 and 18 are the multiples of each other. So if you take 3 out, you get x plus 6 times 2x minus 1 by x plus 5. Now, so cancel out the common ones. So the common ones are x plus 5 and x plus 5. So we have x minus 1 times 2x minus 1 over 3 times x plus 6. So this is your answer. So make sure you try to find your answer until you make sure that you can simplify everything that is possible. Notice that in this we cannot further simplify it, which means that's your answer. You have x square plus 11x plus 30 over x square plus 5x plus 6 times x square plus 7x plus 12 over x square plus 8x plus 16. So notice that I have made it a little more complex. So try this problem. So simplify each of these factor each of these trinomials and try to find the final answer and cancel whichever is common. So pause the video here and try to solve this problem. So next is how to divide rational expressions. So for example, so what are the steps that we have to follow? So first one is to rewrite the first rational expression multiplied by the reciprocal of the second rational expression. So for example, let's say if you have x by y, that's dividing x by, let's say x by 3. How would you multiply? How would you find the value? So let's say x by 4. How would you do this? You can also write this as x by 4. Flip the numerator and denominator in the second rational expression in the denominator and write it down as a multiplier of the original expression. So this is how we can do it. So a by b by c by d can be written as a by b times d by c. So this is the process of reciprocality, where you can reciprocal the value, the second expression, and multiply it to the original numerator. So this is the first step. So what is the second step? So the second step is exactly as before. So factor the numerator and denominator. Third is to multiply numerators. Fourth is multiply denominators. And finally 5, simplify the expression. So let's say I have a problem here. We have 2x square plus x minus 6 divided by x square minus 1 divided by x square minus 4 over x square plus 2x plus 1. Now notice that this looks complex, but notice the divided symbol basically means that. So now what we can do now is to convert this, so we know that a by b divided by c by d can be written as a by b times d by c. So use this principle now. So you get 2x square plus x minus 6 divided by x square minus 1 times x square plus 2x plus 1 divided by x square minus 4. Now take the first expression, you have 2x square plus x minus 6. So multiply the first and last, you get negative 12x square. So negative 12x square can be written as, so 4 and minus 3. Notice that the plus x is there, so that's why you get 4 and minus 3. So you can replace it with 4x minus 3. So 2x square plus x minus 6 can be written as 2x square plus 4x minus 3x minus 6. So 2x out, you get x plus 2. Minus 3 out, you get x plus 2. So we have 2x minus 3 times x plus 2. So this is the expression for 2x square plus x minus 6. Now the second one we want to know is x square minus 4. Notice that 4 is a perfect square, so you get x square minus 2 square. So which can be written as x plus 2 times x minus 2. So that's your final expression for x square minus 4. Next we can also do it the same for x square minus 1. So x square minus 1 can be written as x square minus 1 square. So you can also write it as x plus 1 times x minus 1. So that is the third one. Next let's try and find for x square plus 2x plus 1. If you look closely, the first expression and the last expression are squares of each other. So you have x square and 1 square. So the only thing that we want to know is it twice the value of ab. So we can write it as 2x as, we can write it as 2 into x into 1. So which is similar to, this is similar to a square plus 2ab plus b square, which is originally equal to a plus b square. So it will become x plus 1 square. So this is x square plus 2x plus 1. So can be written as x plus 1 square. Now put in all the values that you have got common and substitute it into the answer. So this can be written as, so 2x square plus x minus 6 can be written as 2x minus 3 into x plus 2 over x square minus 1 can be written as x plus 1 into x minus 1 times x square plus 2x plus 1 can be written as x plus 1 square over x square minus 4 can be written as x plus 4 times x plus 2 times x minus 2. Now what is common here? X plus 2 is common. 1x plus 1 and 1x plus 1 gone, so we'll be left with another x plus 1. So now write down the final value, which is 2x minus 3 times, notice that there is only 1 cancelled, so you get x plus 1 divided by x minus 1 into x minus 2. So this is the simplified version of this value. So this is the simplified rational expression. Now, so let me write down an example so that you can try it on your own. 9x square minus 16 over 3x square plus 17x minus 28 divided by 3x square minus 2x minus 8 over x square plus 5x minus 14. So pause the video right here and try to solve this problem. So next let's talk about adding and subtracting rational expressions. So best example to understand this is to think about how you add two numbers, so two fractions. Let's say I have an fraction of 5 by 24 and 1 by 40. The way we add this is we try to find the LCD of the denominators. So the LCD represents the least common denominator. So the least common denominator is the number that you can divide with both 24 and 40 but still end up having a fully dividing the number with a remainder 0. So that number for 24 and 40, if you remember, is 120. So what you do here is multiply 5 by 24 into 120 every single time. So you can write 5 by 24 times 120 plus 1 by 40 times 120. So this becomes 24 ones, 24 fives, 40 ones, 43s. So this is 25 plus 3 by 120. You end up with 28 by 120. Right? So which you can further simplify and find that this is going to be 7 by 30. So 7 by 30. So 4 7s and 4 30s. So that gives you 7 by 30. So this is how we generally do fractions. We can do the same exact thing with rational expressions as well. So how to do that? So let's say I have 5 by x plus 6 by y. So what are the steps that we're going to do? First, again the same rules, factor the numerator and denominator. Second, try to find the LCD of the expression. And third, multiply the denominators. So multiply the expression with LCD on the numerator. So and finally 4, add or subtract the numerators. And finally 5, simplify. So what is the LCD going to be here? So the LCD here has to be a number that when you multiply it gives you the same denominator. So notice that one is x, the other is y. So which means that the number that is not in the denominator here is y. So what we do here is multiply y by y. So which makes it easier. Notice that we are multiplying the same and dividing the same. So it doesn't make a difference to the value. But you get y here. Next 6 by y. Y is missing x. So we multiply x by x. Now notice the denominators become xy and xy. So xy. And then in the top you get 5y plus 6x. That's your answer. Right? So let's try a little more complex problem. Let's say I have 6 by x square plus 4x plus 4 minus 2 by x square minus 4. So there are two expressions that we have to factorize first. So our first one is x square plus 4x plus 4. Notice that the first one and the last one are perfect squares, x squares and 2 square. So plus, in the middle we have to check it is twice the value of AB. So twice the value A is x and the B is 2. So this also gives you 4x. So this is similar to a square plus 2ab plus b square. So you can write it as a plus b whole square, which is x plus 2 square. So this can be written as 6 by x plus 2 times x plus 2 minus 2 divided by x square minus 4 becomes 4 square again. So x square minus 2 square. So which can be written as x plus 2 times x minus 2. So you have x plus 2 times x minus 2. Notice here the denominator is missing x minus 2. So what we can do here is we can multiply x minus 2 and divide x minus 2. So we write x minus 2 by x minus 2 minus 2 divided by x plus 2 into x minus 2. Notice that in here denominator we are missing one extra x plus 2. So multiply x plus 2 and divide x plus 2. So now try to simplify the expression now. So how will you simplify it now? Notice the denominator, you can write it fully. The denominator is x plus 2 times x plus 2 times x minus 2. On the numerator you have 6 times x minus 2 minus 2 times x plus 2. Over. So x plus 2 square times x minus 2. So this can be written as 6x minus 6 times 2 is 12 minus 2x minus 4 divided by x plus 2 square into x minus 2. So which can be written as 6x minus 2x becomes 4x minus 12x minus 4 becomes minus 16 divided by x plus 2 square times x minus 2. You can further simplify the numerator. You can write it as 4 times x minus 4 divided by x plus 2 square into x minus 2. So that's your final answer. This is how you can find the LCD and solve the. So try an example problem. So you have 3 by x plus 5 minus 1 by x minus 3. So notice that this is missing x minus 3, so multiply and divide x minus 3. Here it is missing x plus 5, so multiply and divide x plus 5. So that will be your answer. So pause the video right here and try to solve this problem.